Hello everyone, welcome to PUC Physics Explained channel. In this session, I am going to take class 11 or first PUC Physics syllabus. The syllabus what I am going to discuss for the first PUC, that is as per NCERT. NCERT is the National Council for Educational Research and Training, and that NCERT provides usually the study materials for all the educations, and as per that the syllabus is to be set for the particular class study. And here the class 11 physics syllabus as per the CBSE I am going to discuss, and the different boards including CBSE and different state boards are refer the NCERT syllabus, and little variation will be there, but maximum the syllabus contained in the NCERT will be there in their board syllabus also. And here, why it is required to know the syllabus of this subject? If you want to start the study of the particular subject, you should know the what is the content in that syllabus, so that you can plan your study, and also you can know the which chapters are very familiar to you and which will provide the confidence of the preparation, and that you can decide. And due to that reason, you have to know the syllabus well in advance, and later you can start your preparation. Kindly subscribe PUC Physics Explained channel. If you are already subscribed, kindly share and comment. I'll continue with the syllabus content. Here, contents of physics part 1. It contains the two parts. The part 1 contains the 7 chapters, part 2 contains the 7 chapters. Totally 14 chapters are there. In the part 1, the first chapter is chapter 1, units and measurements. In the world, there are number of physical quantities are there. In those physical quantities are to be measured. Those should be have some measurement value, like that the solid, liquid, gases, and all this should be measured. And for that measurement, we require a number and units. And those units and numbers we are going to decide based on that, whatever the measurement units are there, the system is there. And that we are going to take in the first chapter. It includes 1.1 introduction, 1.2 the international system of units, that is the SI unit we are going to call, which is standard measurement system accepted by the world. That 1.3 significant figures. During the measurement, what are the errors are there, and also the how many significant figures are to be considered while reading the some numbers. Point 4, dimensions of physical quantities. Here the dimensions are to be measured in terms of the fundamental units. The 7 fundamental units are there, the others are derived units are there, and based on that the dimensions we are going to take. 1.5 dimensional formulae and dimensional equations. For the particular the quantity we are going to take the formula and equations. 1.6 dimensional analysis and its application. The dimensional analysis are to be carried out based on the dimensions what we are going to take for the particular physical quantity, and their applications also will discuss. It has the weightage of the 3 marks in the examination. Chapter 2, motion in a straight line. It has 2.1 introduction, 2.2 instantaneous velocity and speed, 2.3 acceleration, 2.4 kinematic equations for uniformly accelerated motion. When the object is moving in the straight line, then the parameters concerned to that we are going to study in this chapter. Third chapter, motion in a plane. By considering one particular plane, how the object will move, that is the motion in a plane, that we are going to study here. That includes 3.1 introduction, 3.2 scalars and vectors. These are the quantities which have the magnitude only in the scalars and vectors magnitude and directions both. 3.3 multiplication of vectors by real numbers. And 3.4, addition and subtraction of vectors by graphical method. One method, we'll study that. Then 3.5, resolution of vectors. That is splitting of this vector into number of the two or more number of small vectors, and there the resultant will be the addition of all the small vectors we are going to get. Then 3.6, vector addition by analytical method. Then 3.7, motion in a plane. 3.8, motion in a plane with constant acceleration. The change in velocity that we are going to call as acceleration. With that constant acceleration we'll study. 3.9, projectile motion. The projectile motion, just like a throwing a ball in the sky which will returning, that is called as a projectile. That motion we are going to study. 3.10, uniform circular motion. The uniform circular continuously moving uniformly in the circular direction. That is called as a uniform circular direction we are going to study. And here the chapter 2 having the weightage of 6 marks, chapter 3 have the weightage of 12 marks. Further moving, chapter 4, laws of motion. The laws of motion in that 4.1, introduction, Aristotle's fallacy. This is the when the object is moving with a uniform velocity, it requires the external force to move it. Okay, that is the an incorrect idea which is stated by Aristotle's earlier, and later that was corrected by the Newton's, and that laws were set for the motion. And 4.3, law of inertia. 4.4, Newton's first law of motion. 4.5, Newton's second law of motion. 4.6, Newton's third law of motion. And 4.7, conservation of momentum. Conservation of momentum we are going to take. 4.8, equilibrium of a particle. 4.9, common forces in mechanics. What are the different common forces are there in the mechanics we are going to discuss. 4.10, circular motion. 4.11, solving problems in mechanics. This we are going to cover in chapter 4, which has weightage of 12 marks in the examination. Chapter 5, work, energy and power. Work is an form of energy, and which will the doing any of the work it will be used, and energy is the it may be either heat or a work. It is then power, that is the rate of doing work. That all the three we are going to discuss here. 5.1, introduction, and 5.2, notions of work and kinetic energy. The work energy theorem. And 5.3, work, concerned to work only we are going to discuss here. There is a force into the perpendicular distance which will object travel. That work we are going to determine, and that discussion we are going to take. The 5.4, kinetic energy, energy concerned to the velocity or a moving object. 5.5, work done by a variable force. If the force is variable, then what the work done we are going to take. 5.6, the work energy theorem for variable force. If the force is variable, then there is a theorem, that's the work energy theorem, that we will study here. 5.7, the concept of potential energy. Potential energy is the energy by virtue of its position, and what is the concept is there concerned to that we will take here. 5.8, the conservation of mechanical energy. The mechanical energy conservation, how we will take. 5.9, the potential energy of a spring. If the spring that can the contract and expand, and when it is contracted, it will have the potential energy. Due to that, it will be expands. Okay, that we are going to discuss here. Then 5.10, power. 5.11, collisions. Two objects, if collide each other, that collisions, the energy interactions, what are taking place by the collision, we'll discuss here. And this fifth chapter having the weightage of 11 marks. Then chapter 6, system of particles and rotational motion. If the system of particles particles it will have, and the rotational motion. When the rotates some object, the rotational motion regarding that we are going to study. 6.1 introduction. 6.2 center of mass. It is a point the where the average mass is acting, that we are going to take. Then 6.3 motion of center of mass, and 6.4 linear momentum of a system of particles. Then 6.5 vector product of two vectors. And 6.6 angular velocity and its relation with linear velocity. Linear velocity when it is moving in a straight line. Angular velocity by the angle, particular angle turning what it is taking place due to during that what velocity it has, that is angular velocity. 6.7 torque, twisting moment and angular momentum. 6.8 equilibrium of a rigid body. If the rigid body is there, how it has the equilibrium. Then 6.9 momentum of inertia. That is a linear inertia, it is also called. That's the resistance for the rotation what it will have. 6.10 kinematics of rotational motion about a fixed axis. Here when the rotational motion is taking place, okay, what the parameters are changing, those we are going to study here. But the what the causes for the rotation we are not going to consider. That is the kinematics. And 6.11 dynamics of rotational motion about a fixed axis. The dynamics also we need to consider here. Dynamics means the forces causing for the rotational motion, that also need to be considered. 6.12 angular momentum in case of rotations about a fixed axis. This is about the sixth chapter, which has the weightage of the 11 marks. Chapter 7, the last chapter in the first part, that is a gravitation. The gravitation is a introduction. First 7.1, 7.2 Kepler's laws. There are laws concerned to the different parts of energy we are going to take here. And 7.3 universal law of gravitation. The concerned to the gravitation, there is a universal law that statement will take. And 7.4 the gravitational constant. The constant what concerned to the gravity we are going to take. 7.5 acceleration due to gravity of the earth. What the 9.81 meter per second square we are going to take, that is acceleration due to gravity. And 7.6 acceleration due to gravity below and the above the surface of earth. Okay, above and below what the acceleration is there. And 7.7 gravitational potential energy. Here by the virtue of the position, what energy the any object will have due to the gravitational force acting on it, that we need to take. 7.8 escape speed. Any object including a spacecraft, satellites and also the missiles which will escape from the earth atmosphere, and how much speed those should be have, that is called as escape speed, and that escape speed we are going to discuss here. And 7.9 earth satellites. The earth, what it is there, okay, surrounding to that the satellites are revolving, and the earth satellites, the natural satellite moon we know, and the artificial satellites already also we have sent for the different studies, and those rotation also we need to consider here. 7.10 energy of an orbiting satellite. The any satellite which is orbiting the earth, and that orbiting satellite what energy it has, that we'll discuss here. This has an weightage of 9 marks. Okay, already we know that concern to the gravity, when the one apple falls on the scientist, which will be uh, due to what it fell down, and that was he thought, and later the study will he was carried out, and later there is a gravity by the earth, it is there due to that it fell on me. That was earlier what was the message given by the scientist. We'll move to the second part, that is the contents of physics part 2. In the physics part 2, the chapter 8 will take, there is a mechanical properties of solids. The solids which have the different mechanical properties, and those mechanical properties we are going to study here. The 8.1 introduction about it. 8.2 stress and strain. Stress is force per area, strain is change in length to the original length, and this is studied in the Hooke's law. 8.3 Hooke's law. Stress is directly proportional to the strain that we are going to take here. 8.4 stress strain curve. The curve will be drawn, the variation of the stress and strain. And 8.5 elastic modeling. Okay, that the what are the forces causing this to elasticity? That is elastic when the any object stretches, elongates. Okay, that is we are going to consider here. That is elastic modeling. 8.6 applications of elastic behavior of materials. The elastic behavior of the materials are also important. Just like a rubber, when you stretch it, that will be elongates, and later when we leave it, that will contracts, and that is called as elastic behavior of the materials, and those are used for the different applications that we will study here, and it has the weightage of 4 marks. The chapter 9 mechanical properties of fluids. The fluids are liquids or gases, and their mechanical properties will study here. And that 9.1 introduction, 9.2 pressure as a force per area, 9.3 streamlined flow, the all the particles which will move in a well defined path that we'll call as a streamlined flow, and 9.4 Bernoulli's principle. Here the energy concerned to the fluid flow. Okay, there at particular section we are going to take by using the Bernoulli's principle. Then 9.5 viscosity, that is the resistance offered by the one layer of the fluid to the another adjacent layer of the fluid. Okay, that very important for the fluid, and that also we'll discuss. And 9.6 surface tension, and on the surface of the fluid there is a tensile force is acting, that we'll discuss detail. That having the weightage of the 5 marks. Chapter 10 thermal properties of matter. The thermal properties what the matter is having. 10.1 will have the introduction. 10.2 temperature. The measurement of hotness or coldness is the temperature. And heat is a form of energy. And 10.3 will take the measurement of temperature. How the temperature is to be measured. We cannot say that is a hot, cold like that by only the sense, but the how it will be measured. 10.4 ideal gas equation and absolute temperature. Ideal gas equation. The equation used for the gas, that is called as the ideal gas equation. The PV is equal to mRT. That in detail we'll discuss, and absolute temperature which is used in the ideal gas equation, that also we'll discuss. 10.5 thermal expansion. When any solid will get heated and that will be get expands. Some materials having the large expansion capacity, and some materials will have the less expansion its property, and that's why the thermal expansion will take. 10.6 specific heat capacity. Okay, to increase the 1 degree Celsius, what amount of heat is required for the particular object, particular material, that will take the specific heat capacity. 10.7 calorimetry. It is a method of measuring the energy of the any substance. It is a calorimetry. 10.8 change of state. The state is changing from the solid ice to the water, water, and liquid water to the vapor, and that is a change of state we'll take. Then 10.9 heat transfer. Transfer of the energy in the form of heat from higher temperature to the lower temperature we'll discuss. 10.10 Newton's law of cooling. By the convection within the fluid the water heat transferring, and that is uh, stated by the Newton's law of cooling, the heat transfer. That is given by the Newton, and that will take in detail. Chapter 11 Thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, here the energy transactions are taking place. What those study we are going to take in the thermodynamics, and the causes or changes what are taken place during the energy transfer, those also will study here. Here 10.1 introduction, 10.2 thermal equilibrium. Okay, the temperature of the two locations are a particular two objects will be remain same. That is a thermal equilibrium we are going to call. Then 11.3 zeroth law of thermodynamics, 11.4 heat, internal energy and work. These are the forms of energy. Those also will take. Then 11.5 first law of thermodynamics, 11.6 specific heat capacity. Once again we'll take. 11.7 thermodynamic state variables and equation of state. Here in the thermodynamics, at any particular condition, there are variables are used to measure its condition. Those are called as the thermodynamic state variables. For example, pressure and volume of the particular fluid at particular condition we are going to take. Those are the state variables. And for that equation of state, we'll take 11.8 thermodynamic processes. Energy transfer what it will be taking place by the different processes. Okay, it may be constant volume process, constant pressure process, isothermal process, adiabatic process, or polytropic process. These processes we are going to discuss here. 11.9 second law of thermodynamics. 11.10 reversible and irreversible processes. The thermodynamic process only classified into reversible and irreversible. Those will take. 11.11 Carnot engine, which is the engine which converts the energy one form to the another form. That we'll discuss in detail. Chapter 12 Kinetic Theory. It has 12.1 Introduction. 12.2 Molecular nature of matter. And the molecular nature what it is the matter is having. And 12.3 Behavior of the gases. How the gases will behave will take. 12.4 Kinetic theory of an ideal gas. There is a theory for the ideal gas behavior that will take. 12.5 Law of equipartition of energy. Energy for that, the equipartition of the energy is there. We'll take the statement of that and we'll discuss it in detail. 12.6 Specific heat capacity, once again concerned to the gases it comes. And 12.7 Mean free path. Okay, when the molecules of any gas move freely before the collision, and that path what it is follows we are going to call as a mean free path. Next, moving further, chapter 13 oscillations. Oscillations, when it comes to our mind, it is the oscillation of the pendulum. Okay, it is a one of the example of that oscillation. And other what are the oscillations are there that also we will study in this chapter. 13.1 introduction, 13.2 periodic and oscillatory motions, and 13.3 simple harmonic motion, 13.4 simple harmonic motion and uniform circular motion, 13.5 velocity and acceleration in simple harmonic motion. SHM we are going to call simple harmonic motion, and concern to that we will study in detail. 13.6 force law of simple harmonic motion, and 13.7 energy in simple harmonic motion. Then 13.8 the simple pendulum. Okay, these are the contents of this 13th chapter. It has the weightage of the 8 marks in the examination. The last chapter, chapter 14, waves. Now, whenever waves comes to our mind, we know that the waves in the mid sea or waves in the lakes. And their waves, what are there? Those are the water waves. And here the different the waves concerned to it may be a sound wave, that is a radio waves, and the heat waves or any other waves will be there. Concerned to that in detail we are going to discuss here. 14.1 introduction, 14.2 transverse and longitudinal waves, 14.3 displacement relation in progressive wave, 14.4 the speed of traveling wave, 14.5 the principle of superposition of wave, and 14.6 reflection of waves, 14.7 beats. Okay, all these we'll discuss in detail here. And this is about the what is the content of the this physics uh, first year syllabus, and the 14th chapter has the weightage of the 10 marks. And as I already mentioned, if you know the syllabus of the particular subject well in advance and you can plan your study, and if you go for the particular chapters which are familiar, which are you already studied in the previous classes, and that's why you can easily get it that one. And my suggestion that you have to first prepare well the easy chapters what you feel easier, so that and your confidence level will be increases and you can save the times later. And that's why the which chapters you feel easy, those you prepare well initially, and also you can note the weightages of the that chapters in the examination. Based on that also you can prepare well, and so that you can do well in the examination if you know in advance this syllabus. In this channel I'm going to discuss the all the chapters and all the contents in details in the further sessions, and kindly watch those also. And kind if you like, share, subscribe and comment.